You know they're gonna ask me why I'm wearing a mask. When I was a boy, I had a hero. It wasn't Superman or Iron Man or Batman, although I do love me some Batman. It was the Lone Ranger. Not this Lone Ranger, this Lone Ranger. Hashtag not my Ranger. When I was 8 years old, I would wake up every weekday morning so I could watch back-to-back episodes of the Lone Ranger before school.
The Lone Ranger.
I'm a sucker for a good overture. The Lone Ranger aired on ABC from 1949 to 1957, producing around 221 episodes. In the early 50s, The Lone Ranger was ABC's highest rated television show and their first big network hit. If you don't know the basic storyline of The Lone Ranger, it goes something like this. A man named John Reed is a member of the Texas Rangers in the late 1800s, with his older brother Dan, who is the captain of those Rangers. While pursuing a notorious outlaw, Butch Cavendish, what did his mother expect him to turn out to be with a name like that? They are ambushed by his gang and left for dead. After the bad guys exfiltrate the area, John proves to be alive and drags his bullet-riddled body to a nearby spring inside of a cave. Now, to his great luck, or providence as the show insinuates, a Native American named Tonto, yes, I know it means fool in Spanish, don't focus on that. Tonto finds John and patches him up. They then decide to go about fighting crime as, well, vigilantes. They're vigilantes, but the good kind. Tonto states that John is the lone surviving ranger, and John realizes that to bring the outlaw gang to justice, they will have to think that he died along with his brother, because it gives them the element of surprise. So Tonto makes him a mask out of his dead brother's vest. That's hardcore. And then digs a grave and buries John Reed next to his brother, so that, to the world, John Reed is dead and buried and a new man has emerged. A different man. There are preachers right now going, I know where he's heading with this. Don't spoil it. After capturing the outlaws, the Lone Ranger and Tonto decide to continue fighting injustice in the West for another 218 episodes and 2 feature-length movies. The Lone Ranger was my hero because he believed that all men were created equal, that everyone should be willing to fight for what is right. Whenever he was forced to use his guns, he would shoot to wound, not to kill. And he never smoked, drank, or hung out with girls that did. Nearly every episode contains an awkward moment where the Lone Ranger is mistaken for a bad guy, or at least his morality is questioned in some way because he is wearing a mask.
He's a friend of mine.
Friend? Wearing a mask? It serves a purpose.
I've always been fascinated by good guys that wear masks. My favorite superheroes are Batman and Captain America, but their masks, don't really do a lot to mask their identity. I mean, it is showing more effort than Superman, let's be honest. Oh, the curl. He looks like Clark Kent, but that curl, Clark doesn't have that. What's that about? Their masks act more like a social media filter where it doesn't completely change the source material, it just shows it in a different light. Now, I'm not trying to hide my identity, but I often have to wear a mask due to my weakened immune system. I was born with a hereditary bleeding disorder called hemophilia. Hemophilia. And at the age of 2, I received a tainted blood transfusion that infected me with the Hepatitis C virus. For the next 23 years, that virus attacked my liver and nearly killed me. But my number was called and I received a liver transplant in January of 2011. It took 3 more years to combat and finally kill the Hepatitis C virus though, and 7 years out of transplant, I am still dealing with the fallout from the surgery, the treatment, and the twice daily medication that I still have to take to suppress my immune system. So when I go out in public, especially in crowded places, I often have to wear a mask to protect myself from others. Now in some countries, this would be seen as perfectly normal, but in America, it is not so normal.
And I'm getting mighty curious about that mask, too.
You're not the first one.
When someone sees me coming towards them with this thing on my face, I often see a look of dread come over them. Sometimes they even make comments. What's wrong with you? Is it something contagious? Because I cannot get sick right now. I'm not being mean, I'm being honest. That's exactly how she said it. And much worse has been said. It often takes all of the energy I have not to yell out, I'm not wearing this to protect you from me, I'm wearing this to protect me from you. I said it right. You're the walking petri dish. I don't usually do that, but I have been known to take my mask off and cough in someone's general direction when I hear them make a snotty comment. I know, it's not very Jesus-like, but on a perfection scale of 1 to 10, I'm not. I'm just being honest, I'm working on it. I wear the mask to filter out harmful things from entering my system, but it has definitely changed my identity. It can also produce wonderful reactions from people who want to make sure I'm okay or have even asked to pray with me. Right in the middle of Walmart, dude stops and says, hey man, I don't know what's going on with you, but can I pray with you? It's awesome.
You know something? I kinda like you, mister. Mask or no mask.
Wearing this filter has an important purpose, but so does the filter that I put on my entire life. I use the Bible as an invisible filter that helps me keep the negative stuff from getting in and doing damage to me, but like this surgical mask, it also keeps the bad stuff in my heart from getting out and hurting others. Scripture is the filter I run everything through. It is the way I live my life to stay healthy inside. Am I the perfect Christian? No. No, 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 no. No. Well, I am better than no. Every day I get up and try to live a little more like Jesus than I did the day before. And while I am far from perfect, I don't have to be because Jesus was perfect for me, which makes me want to be more and more like him. Now, why am I wearing the mask in the video? Well, it represents who I really am, and it doesn't allow you to forget it. Without it, you can't really tell anything is wrong with me or what I have been through to get here. It represents a different me, a beautifully broken me with a new physical liver and a new spiritual heart. And just like my childhood hero, it is a statement right on my face that I am not who I once was. I'm not trying to hide my spiritual weakness, and I'm not trying to distract you from my physical weakness. Some days I'm okay, and some days I'm not, and some days I am in a good mood, and some days I'm not. And some days I make the right choices, and some days I don't. But that's why I put my faith in Jesus, because I can't be perfect. And especially with all these things that I have to deal with, there's just no way. I just can't do it. He made it to where I don't have to be perfect. I just have to be his. And that works for me. This is me in real life. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that video. I will be putting out new content each week, so please consider liking and subscribing and maybe even sharing my video with others. And if you're interested in learning more about my story, you can order my book, Faith Transplanted, on Amazon.com for only $10. The proceeds help to feed hungry kids. I mean, they're my hungry kids, but still.